o'clock Scribbles. Today is Wednesday, December 20th. I'm recording this around 4:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. All right, before we get started off here, I wanted to pay tribute to my dear friend in Gregorio Breedlove, who lost his life while watching the Sacramento Kings versus the New Orleans Pelicans game a couple weeks back. So rest easy, my friend. It's really only fitting that I'm actually recording this the day that your favorite team in the Celtics play tonight against the Kings. So you know what, Greg lived a good life. He was only 34 years old, and he had a bright future ahead of him. And he told me about all the stuff that he wanted to do, and working with sports players and all that. So he's a big sports fan, and so we're gonna miss him dearly. So that's how I wanted to start out the show here. All right. So the Kings are on a 3-game winning streak as they continue their 6-game homestand here in Sacramento, California, where it has been raining like cats and dogs. So we'll take what we can take here. They currently sit fourth in the West currently, and they do play the number one team in the East in the Boston Celtics. More on that at the end here. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things during this short video. We're going to first talk about the Kings' last game here against the Washington Wizards. That's what I'll be mainly focusing on. And then also how certain players on the Sacramento Kings have been doing. I'll be giving out certain stats about this game here against the Washington Bullets, as we like to say, and how the Kings have been playing as a collective unit as of late. They've been playing some really good offense, but their defensive part is definitely where they need to lock down on. So more on that a little bit later. And then we'll also talk about what is next for the team as they continue their 6-game homestand here. So the Kings beat the Washington Wizards on Monday night, 143 to 131. Kings really controlling most of this one, but Wes Ansel Jr. and his staff will be happy about how his bench players contributed at the very end of the game. As a lot of people like to say, garbage time. A lot of those reserves put in a good shift, and you know what? They had 75 points in the second half as a team. So not just talking about the bench there as a team in the Washington Wizards. Mike Brown mentioned after the game that he did not like this. That's a lot of points for a half. So the Kings do got to lock down better on the defensive end. All starters in this game, also on the Kings side, they were all in double figures. So that's a really good showing sign in this game. Since Malik Monk did not have it going on, he only had 3 points. But you know what? The Kings put up less threes than they normally do. I feel like they normally put up at least 45 threes. And during this game, they put up 40. In the first half, that 3-ball really wasn't going in for them. But they kept on shooting the rock even in the second half. So you did see the Kings making more of the threes in the second half, and that was a little bit more favorable for them. Like I said, they normally put up around 45, and they got off 40 in this game. And the second half, that shot was going in for them a little bit more. Pivoting now to Harrison Barnes. I wanted to talk about Harrison Barnes. He played a better game in this game. He struggled against Utah and he struggled against OKC, but has favorable matchups throughout this game against the Washington Wizards throughout the night. He finishes this game with 22 points on what? 50% shooting. So that's better from HB in about 34 minutes of play. This is a good telling sign. He has been struggling lately, and his shot has just really not gone down for him. So, in my honest opinion, I want to see Trey Lyles get the starting spot from Harrison Barnes and kind of seeing how that shakes up rhythm and if Trey is able to do better with the starting unit. But you know what? HB has been in the league for quite a while. The veteran leadership is there from the small forward. Let's continue to see how Harrison does in these next 3 games here at home, as a good number of players are coming into town here in Sacramento. We're going to switch gears now and talk about Domas. Domas has a big game, and he notches in his 21st double-double of the season and his 3rd triple-double of the season. And it's worthwhile to note that this is his career 35th triple-double. So The Lithuanian here had a quote after the game, quote, just trying to play the right way, being aggressive and just reading the game. Tonight, I really wanted to get it. And you know what? From watching this game in person, he was really getting to it. He was doing what he does, playing bully boy in the paint, using his body as a shield and as a weapon to get in there and try to get easy buckets as possible. So he was very aggressive in this one. He was really looking for a shot, and he gets this for his pops as a late birthday present. So good stuff out of Domas. This is what you expect your second best player to continue to do as they have a couple heavyweights coming into town here. Now is a good time to segue on to De'Aaron Fox. He did have a quote after the game, quote unquote, when you have multiple guys playing at a high level in this same game, it's extremely hard to beat us, Fox said. We want to be able to consistently be able to play at this level. That's the type of work we put in. We're just continuing to play the right way, and we continue to go out and become a better defensive team. Closed quote unquote. So I think his straight on here is the Kings have not been playing very good on the defensive end, really giving teams access to that baskets, easy points, dunks, and not really finishing off the play on the defensive end. So if the Kings want to take it one step further, they need to be better on the defensive end, because this defense is not going to get you very far in the playoffs. So to conclude Fox's numbers for this game, he finishes the game off with 30 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. So he continues to be in the MVP conversations because he is playing like it. The other day, the All-Star voting came out, and it shouldn't surprise me if Foxy and Domas don't make that All-Star game. They need to be in there because what they're doing is very special here in Sacramento. All right, now we're going to move on to Kevin Herter. Kevin Herter got a good start to this one, but he doesn't shoot the ball very well from three. In fact, only 25% in this game. And typically what you see with Kevin is once his three balls are really hitting, he shows you that two-way game and actually goes to the rack too and shows you that he can do a little bit of different things on the offensive end and not being afraid to take it to the cup. So not a very good shooting game for him. And I'll continue to always vouch for Kevin. Kevin can be hot or cold. He reminds me sometimes like Buddy Hield. But I think once his shot goes down, he starts to get more confidence, as any player does. So he finishes this game with 14 points, and he shot it on 50% shooting from the field. So he didn't shoot it bad from the field, but his three ball just wasn't falling, and we all know that is his bread and butter. So now we're going to talk about Keegan Murray. That's the chant. That's the chant here in Sacramento. So Keegan is definitely solidifying his presence as part of the big three with Domas and Foxy. We are big fans of him in Sacramento. And tell you what, here very candidly, because he's a young player. He seems to be like he was raised the right way. He has that blue collar worker attitude of just like, all right, I'm going to be scrappy. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to try my hardest. And I don't care what you guys say. And so he has that mentality. He's not dramatic. You don't see him in off-court news at all. And he just sticks to what he does. And he's trying to be a great player in this league. So he's showing you that he can do that. He finishes this game with 25 points, following his career high versus the Utah Jazz on Saturday, where he finishes off that game with 47 points. So he continues to show good numbers as far as stats, and he can show you that he can guard some of the best players on the other team. So I'm talking about he's guarding Kuzma, he's guarding Jordan Poole and Gafford in the big fella. So I'm excited to see his development as he continues to thrive in his role here with the Sacramento Kings. So in this game, it's worthwhile to note too, he shot that on 57% shooting from deep and 52% from the field. So those are very respectable numbers from the second year man there in Keegan Murray. I wanted to talk about the Kings reserves. So the Kings reserves only accumulated for 30 points in this game. At the very end of the game, Mike ended up bringing out Kobe Jones, Davion Mitchell, Chris Duarte, Kessler Edwards, Juan Toscano Anderson there. They didn't play a very good defense at all, and it seemed like the Wizards were scoring on every single opportunity. So they finished off the game on a high note, the Wizards did, and the Kings didn't end so well on a good note, but they do get the W. But with Mike and Jody, they'll be frustrated with how the team finished off the game there. I want to talk about Sasha real quick because his defensive game is getting better. Maybe this is going to get him more minutes as time goes by. He finishes this game off with 8 points and 7 rebounds. So let's just continue to monitor that. I think he's getting a better knack of the NBA game, and he got more rebounds in this game than he typically does. So that's good stuff for him. This third and last chapter, we will be talking about what is next for these almighty Sacramento Kings. So the Kings play host tonight versus 17-time NBA World Champions in the Boston Celtics. They play Phoenix on Friday and finish out their homestand against the Minnesota Timberwolves on Saturday. So let's talk about the Boston Celtics tonight. So both teams have won 4 out of their last 5 games. The Kings losing to the Clippers a couple Saturdays ago, 119-99. And the Celtics losing against the Warriors last night, 132-126, which was very fascinating to watch at the very end. Best shooter of all time, and Steph Curry just went bananas and hit a high arc 3. It's like a layup for that guy, I swear to God. He's just something else. Something worthwhile to note for tonight's game is Jason Tatum is out. He did roll that ankle in that game against the Warriors. And then Al Horford is out due to rest. So the C's are not at their full best, but they're still a very dangerous team. The Celtics are a good team on both sides of the floor. In fact, they are in the top 10 in both offense and defense. In offense, they're 6th. On defense, they're 3rd. And in comparison, the Sacramento Kings sit 12th in offense and 19th on defense, which is why I keep saying the Kings need to get better on the defensive end. So overall, the Celtics are a very good team. JB, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Porzingis. Porzingis versus Sabonis is going to be very entertaining to watch. Those centers are very good. I'm looking forward to watching that one. I might as well bring out the popcorn, baby. Pritchard, another good player in the Boston Celtics, can really hit that 3 from deep. Still a very good team overall, very well coached on their end. So both teams shoot a lot of threes, and look for this to be a shootout from the 3 ball. I think both teams are going to let it rip from 3 like it's no one's business. So let's see how this one goes.